Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetrack Adventures. This is Steve. We are in the middle of Nevada, and we're going to be taking a road trip that might be out of this world. Today, we're going to be driving the Extraterrestrial Highway. We are starting out today's drive at Crystal Springs, about 2 hours from Las Vegas. And this is ET Fresh Jerky, which is right at the intersection of Highways 93 and 375, which is the Extraterrestrial Highway. This place is pretty fun. It even has some crashed flying saucers to take a picture with. And there's also a pretty interesting Extraterrestrial Highway mural here. This is also a good place to get some Area 51 or ET Highway souvenirs. And of course there's beef jerky. The restrooms are open to everyone here, though I'd hate to use it after Bigfoot. But another cool feature is they let you sign the bathroom doors. Right across the street from the ET Fresh Jerky, there is a historic marker. Crystal Springs was once the site of a Native American village. Later, because there was water here, the Mormon Trail and other stagecoach trails passed through here. It sounds like the actual springs might be right over here. In 1865, silver was found in this area, and Crystal Springs was briefly the county seat for Lincoln County, but it was quickly realized there weren't very many people here, and it was moved within a year. And sure enough, there is the water. The water temperature is said to be 81 degrees Fahrenheit here. But there isn't much here these days aside from ET Fresh Jerky and another alien-related thing we'll see up the road. Here's the famous Extraterrestrial Highway sign at the start of the highway. Because people keep putting stickers on it, they keep raising it higher and higher. But I think some people only see that as a challenge. Maybe it's just high enough to stay out of reach of little green men at least. But this is said to be one of the most photographed highway signs in the state. There is only one town along this highway and only one place to get gas, and that's in Rachel. The Extraterrestrial Highway is officially Nevada State Route 375, and we will be traveling from Crystal Springs to Warm Springs in the northwest and trying to stop at as many interesting sites as we can along the way. Though this road is pretty remote, so there are long stretches with nothing but amazing scenery. And we'll talk about why this is called the Extraterrestrial Highway in a minute, but first, we've reached our next stop. So this place with the giant alien overlooking the highway is the Alien Research Center. He kind of looks a little bit like the robot from the day the Earth stood still. They have some replicas of the signs you could find at Area 51 to take a picture with here as well. But I plan on driving out to the actual Area 51 today, so hopefully we'll see the real thing later. Here's the actual research center. But what are they researching here? And of course, there's a gift shop here as well. They do have one of the Extraterrestrial Highway signs without stickers all over it, though, for anyone who wants to take a picture with it. There are dinosaurs and Marilyn Monroe as well. We're back on the road, and here's a sign you don't see every day. This sign brings us to why this road is the ET Highway. The Extraterrestrial Highway title was given to this road in 1996 by the Nevada Commission on Tourism as part of a campaign to boost travel through this lonely stretch of desert. It was inspired, of course, by the countless stories of UFO sightings, mysterious lights, and military secrecy that have swirled around this part of Nevada for decades. Stretching a little over 98 miles, this road runs between Crystal Springs and Warm Springs, skirting the eastern edge of the world-famous Area 51, a military installation so secretive that for years the government wouldn't even admit it existed. From the 1950s onward, strange aircraft tests and nighttime lights in the desert sky gave rise to a wave of UFO reports, and for locals and travelers alike, this highway became ground zero for extraterrestrial lore. But long before it earned its otherworldly reputation, this route had a much more down-to-earth beginning. When it was first laid out in the 1930s, it was known as State Route 25, and its northern terminus reached closer to Tonopah. During World War II, that alignment crossed directly through what was then the Tonopah U.S. Army Air Force bombing range, established for training bomber crews. Civilian travel through the area became off-limits, and the highway was effectively severed. To reconnect the route, the state realigned it in the 1950s, shifting the northern end eastward to bypass the restricted zone. The old route disappeared into military territory, while the new one, what we drive today, ended at Warm Springs near the junction with US Highway 6. So while the name Extraterrestrial Highway might conjure images of flying saucers, in reality it's a road shaped by military secrecy and a touch of Nevada showmanship, a place where myth and history blend together. We just stopped at Hancock Summit because I wanted to get some drone footage, and I just noticed something on the peak above us that looks man-made, so I'm going to go ahead and fly the drone up there and see if we can figure out what it is. It looks like there's some sort of sign or plaque up there. I don't see any trail to get up there, but I think the only way to really find out what this is to climb up there. Since I don't see a trail anywhere, this is going to be a fairly steep climb over loose rock to get up there. The wind is strong enough that I was worried about flying the drone closer to try and read it. I figured if I crashed up there, I'd have to climb up anyway, so I might as well just go up. Hopefully it's something interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have service here, so I can't check online to see what it is either. All this loose rock is going to be a pain coming down, too. Maybe once I get up there, I'll see a trail. There's the car where I started. And this is how much I have left to go. So almost there. Okay, so after a little bit of a break, so I wouldn't be breathing so heavy in everyone's ears, we have made it to the top. And it looks like it is a historic marker. Let's see what historic event happened here. So, at this point on March 21, 1938, Dr. M.L. Glendenning received the following by angelical administration. So, not really a historic marker, more a religious marker. Let's take a look around up here. There's the car way down there. Here's the Extraterrestrial Highway. This is the way we've come from. And somewhere off in this direction, past the mountains, is Area 51. This is up here too. There's probably a log inside of it. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm filming this in October, and it looks like the last person to sign this was in August, and before that, March. So not too many people make it up here. Enough looking around up here. It's time to try and safely get back down and get back on the road. We have stopped at what's called the Black Mailbox. It is out here all by itself, and because of that, people have had theories about it. The original mailbox once belonged to a local rancher named Steve Medlin. At first, it was just that, a normal mailbox for everyday mail, sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. But because of its location, right next to Area 51, and beneath skies where people swear they've seen UFOs, it became the subject of a number of conspiracy theories. And let's open it up and take a look inside. People started treating the original like some sort of interdimensional post office, a way to send letters to whoever or whatever might be flying overhead. And sure enough, look at this, we have a letter here to the aliens. They forgot to put postage though, so I don't know if it'll get there. Unfortunately, as the original mailbox started to gain fame, people started vandalizing it, shooting it, stealing it. So a second mailbox was put up labeled Alien Mail, but even that didn't stop the damage, and eventually the rancher just gave up altogether. Unfortunately, I don't have any letters for the aliens, but we do have a Sidetrack Adventure sticker. So we'll go ahead and leave that there, and hopefully it ends up on Mars or something. It's kind of funny. There aren't many highways out there where a mailbox is one of the main attractions. This whole area is also open range, and you really have to look out for cows. And here's an example right here. You would think with all this open space they could find a better spot than right next to the highway, but I guess it's better than being on the highway. We haven't seen any mysterious objects yet, but the views out here have been incredible so far. We are now at Coyote Summit, and they say that the top of this peak is a good place to watch for aircraft from Area 51. I've already climbed one peak today, so I'm going to pass on this one, but we've yet to see any jets today anyway. The small town of Rachel is now coming up, but we're going to take a slight detour before we get there. Down this dirt road is the so-called back gate to Area 51. Area 51 is probably the best known secret location in the world. There are always rumors of flying saucers, government secrets, and advanced military weapons. Well, the advanced military weapons part is true. Hidden within the vast expanse of the Nevada Test and Training Range, this facility has been the centerpiece of speculation for decades. Officially, it's known as Groom Lake, named after the dry lake bed at its center, and it's part of the Nellis Air Force Range Complex, an area roughly the size of Connecticut that has been used for classified weapons testing since the 1940s. The origins of Area 51 trace back to 1955 during the height of the Cold War. The CIA and Lockheed Corporation needed an isolated, secure location to test a new, top-secret reconnaissance aircraft, the U-2 spy plane. Groom Lake, with its flat terrain, remote location, and existing airfield from World War II, fit the bill perfectly. Workers were flown in under the radar, literally and figuratively, and the base was built in secrecy. Even those working nearby at other test sites had no idea what was going on there. Over the years, the base expanded to support testing of other high-tech aircraft. In the 1960s came the A-12 Ox Cart, a Mach 3 predecessor to the SR-71 Blackbird. Then later projects included the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter and other experimental aircraft that remain classified even today. To the untrained eye, these unusual shapes and flight patterns, often seen at night, look nothing like conventional airplanes, fueling decades of UFO sightings in the surrounding desert. For years, the United States government wouldn't even acknowledge that Area 51 existed. It wasn't until 2013 that the CIA declassified documents, officially confirming its location and purpose as a testing site for advanced aircraft. By that point, of course, the legend had already taken hold, and a number of conspiracy theories were out there. From claims of reverse-engineered alien spacecraft to supposed storage of extraterrestrial bodies from Roswell. None of these stories have ever been proven, but they've made Area 51 one of the most famous, secret places on Earth. Despite pretty much everyone knowing that this secret base is out here, it is still active and heavily restricted. We're heading about as close as we can legally get, though there are some remote mountain peaks around here where you can actually see the base. So this is the back gate to Area 51, and this is as close as we can get, and there's really not a lot to see here. It's kind of funny though, we've seen a number of cars come by, and there were cars here when we first got here. So it's become somewhat of a tourist attraction, even though there's really nothing to see here. But anyways, let's head back to the main highway and continue on this road trip before someone comes and takes us away. We can't actually see anyone on the other side of the fence, but I know for sure that we're being watched. There are cameras everywhere. Someone in the government's getting a sneak preview of this week's sidetrack adventures. Well, we haven't seen any aliens or secret aircraft yet, but at least heading back to the highway, we've come across this herd of antelope. Our next stop is the only town along the entire highway. We're now in Rachel, and this is the Alien Cowpoke, which is the only gas station on the entire highway. You definitely want to fill up before you start on this trip, or else you're putting a lot of faith in this place being open. While there are a lot of mining ghost towns around here that date back to the 1800s, Rachel wasn't actually founded until 1978. The Alien Cowpoke also has a few interesting things to take pictures of, such as this Area 51 school bus, an alien hayride, and this tractor that I can only imagine is set up to take out some zombies. And of course, you could buy alien themed gifts here. The most famous business in Rachel is the Little Ailey Inn here. This was really the first alien themed thing out here, and it actually predates the Extraterrestrial Highway name. It's been open since around 1989. Here's a historic marker for Project Oxcart. This monument was put here in 1996 by the producers of the movie Independence Day. It's actually a time capsule that'll be opened in 2050. There's also self-parking for flying saucers at the Little Alien, but you have to be careful because it looks like they do tow. Unfortunately, they don't allow any filming inside, so it's time for us to get back on the road. I think when you're in the middle of nowhere like this, you're almost required to stand in the middle of the road and take a picture of yourself. Besides standing in the middle of the road, I actually stopped here for another reason. We are pretty far from everything right now, but we are about as far as we can get from one thing in particular. Out to our west here is what is known as the McFarthest Point, the spot in the contiguous United States that is the farthest you can get from the golden arches of McDonald's. We are about 120 miles or so from the nearest McDonald's as the crow flies, which is kind of wild that the farthest you can get from a McDonald's is little more than 120 miles. Surprisingly though, we aren't that far from a Burger King. We're now approaching Twin Springs, which is about the only water visible from the road along the entire drive. It's kind of strange driving this entire way, seeing nothing but desert. Then all of a sudden, there's a small lake here. Though this does dry up from time to time. With this being one of the only water sources around, I was hoping we'd see some animals here, but it looks like it's just us right now. Based on the patties all over the ground, you could tell this is pretty popular with the cows, though. But this is Twin Springs, a pretty unexpected lake on the Extraterrestrial Highway. We've reached the end of the road, and this is the ghost town of Warm Springs. This site was first settled around 1866 as a stage stop and watering hole for travelers crossing the desert. A small stone house, a store, and later a post office served the steady trickle of miners heading to Tonopah and beyond. But like many desert settlements, Warm Springs never grew beyond a handful of residents. The post office closed in 1929, and by 1940, only 9 people remained. Today, all that's left of Warm Springs are crumbling and vandalized buildings. The spring is still here, though, a reminder of when this lonely junction was a brief oasis in the desert. Well, we made it to the end of the road without getting abducted. So that's our look at the Extraterrestrial Highway. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.